Donald Trump has pulled the United States out of an international nuclear deal with Iran, raising the risk of conflict in the Middle East and upsetting European allies. In a long telegraphed address from the White House, the US president said he would reimpose economic sanctions on Iran to undermine what he described as a horrible one-sided deal. That was Barack Obama's work. Of course, the leaders of Britain, Germany and France, which were signatories to that Obama deal, along with China and Russia, said in a joint statement that Mr. Trump's decision is a cause for regret and concern. The Turkish president is one of those who fears that a new crisis will break out in the Middle East as a result of the US decision. Now, I spoke to CNN's correspondent in Istanbul a short time ago, Jomana Karadsheh, about well, what's going on up there?
We heard, John, yesterday from the Turkish president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, speaking to one of my colleagues in a sit-down interview in the capital, Ankara. And they were, he's really concerned about where this is all going. First of all, saying that this doesn't bode well for the United States, that it seems that the U.S. does not commit to international agreements, but he's also concerned about the impact, the implications this could have on stability in this region. Of course, concerned that this could further destabilize this already turbulent and very unstable region, saying that this could create new crises. He's, of course, concerned about the economic impact of President Trump's decision. Of course, Turkey and Iran, they've had their issues in the past. There is this relationship of a rivalry, yet there's also cooperation. We've seen them getting closer in recent months, especially on issues like trying to bring the Syrian conflict to an end, and they are major trade partners. So there is, of course, that concern. But the words coming from the Turkish president really warning about the implications of this decision by President Trump.
Is there a take there on the implications of this decision for the Iranian people? Because the more I read, the more they look like potentially the biggest losers. They are absolutely stuck between a rock and a hard place, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, that is the concern. There was a lot of hope based on this agreement. There was hope that it will ease, their economic concerns, that it will bring about more openness to the entire world, that it would revive Iran's economy that is already struggling. And we have seen in recent days the impact this is having, with their currency yet again dropping to the lowest level compared to the U.S. dollar. And, the feeling we hear from correspondents in Iran, we've heard this yesterday also, straight after the announcement from President Trump, we heard it from Iranian President Rouhani saying that the aim of the United States here is to put pressure on the Iranian people. So far, it's been, a message of defiance that we are hearing. But of course, this is going to be very, very tough on the Iranian population.
Can we go back to where you are, Jomana, and that is Turkey? What will Turkey do? Because not only is President Trump talking about sanctions on Iran, of course, and that's the whole point of this, but he's also talking about sanctions on people who trade with Iran. Now, clearly, Turkey trades with Iran and will continue to do so. European states trade with Iran and will continue to deal with Iran. But how does Turkey appease its neighbour Iran and the US at the same time?
That is the big question, John. I think we're going to have to wait and see. It's not just Turkey, of course. You've got so many European countries that are concerned about secondary sanctions and how this is going to impact, their business dealings with Iran. Everyone is waiting to see how that is going to work out, how they can try and preserve those business ties. When it comes to Turkey, as tensions between the United States and Turkey have been building for several months now on, several different fronts, especially when it comes to the United States support of Kurdish militias in northern Syria, right on Turkey's doorstep. And they have seen this as a threat to the country's national security. So it's obviously a very complex situation in this region, complex dynamics. So we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But, Turkey has been getting closer to countries like Iran and Russia as its relationship with the United States has worsened in recent months, John.
Jomana Karadsheh, who was with CNN in Turkey and joined us a couple of hours ago.